The year was 2157, and humanity had spread throughout the solar system. Space stations orbited Earth, Mars hosted thriving colonies, and mining operations dotted the asteroid belt. Despite this progress, humans had never encountered intelligent, alien life. That changed on a Tuesday morning in April. Captain Elaine Harrison stood at attention in her crisp blue United Nations Space Command uniform. The observation deck of Space Station Liberty provided a stunning view of Earth below, but her eyes were fixed on the approaching alien vessel. It was massive, easily 3 times the size of the largest human battleship. Its hull gleamed like polished obsidian with pulsing veins of blue light running along its surface. 2 minutes until they dock, Captain, said Lieutenant Peter Grant, his voice betraying a hint of nervousness despite his professional demeanor. Thank you, Lieutenant, replied Harrison, straightening her collar. At 42, she had served in the UNSC for over 20 years, but nothing in her training had prepared her for this moment. First contact, she had been chosen as humanity's representative not for her diplomatic skills, but for her unflappable composure and exceptional service record. The ship's communication system crackled. Captain Harrison, the alien delegation requests permission to board through Airlock 7. Permission granted, she responded. Ensure the welcome committee is in position. The alien ship, which had identified itself as the Eternal Luminance, flagship of something called the Galactic Confederation, connected to Liberty Station with surprising gentleness for its enormous size. Harrison watched on the screens as the airlock cycled. The first alien to step through stood nearly 7 feet tall. Its skin was pale blue with scattered patches of reflective scales. 2 large, almond-shaped eyes dominated a face with minimal features, just slits for a nose, and a small mouth. It wore what appeared to be a ceremonial armor of interlocking plates that shifted color from silver to gold as it moved. I am High Commander Zexoteric of the Varlian species, the alien announced in perfect English, its voice surprisingly melodious. I speak on behalf of the Galactic Confederation, an alliance of 17 spacefaring civilizations. Harrison stepped forward. Welcome to Earth, High Commander. I am Captain Elaine Harrison of the United Nations Space Command. On behalf of humanity, I extend our greetings and hope for peaceful relations. The alien's head tilted slightly, eyes narrowing. Your greeting protocols are adequate, Captain. We have observed your species for some time before deciding to make contact. Your recent ventures beyond your planet suggested you might be ready for a limited interaction with the greater galactic community. There was something in the alien's tone, a hint of superiority that wasn't lost on Harrison. She maintained her diplomatic smile. We're eager to learn about the Confederation and your technologies. Yes, I imagine you would be, Zexoteric responded. Your propulsion systems are particularly quaint. Still using fusion drives, are you not? We abandoned those millennia ago. Harrison felt her smile becoming fixed. We find they serve our needs within the solar system. Of course, the alien said with a gesture that might have been the equivalent of a dismissive wave. Now, shall we proceed with the formal introductions? My delegation includes representatives from 3 member species of the Confederation. More aliens filed through the airlock, one short and stocky with gray, leathery skin, another tall and willowy with what looked like feathers covering its body, and several more Varlians in less ornate armor. The human and alien delegations moved to Liberty Station's conference room, where introductions were made and basic information exchanged. Throughout the meeting, Harrison couldn't shake the feeling that the aliens viewed humans as primitives who had somehow managed to stumble into space. Your species has done remarkably well considering your limitations, Zexoteric said during a discussion of human history. Many developing species destroy themselves before reaching the stars. We've had our challenges, Harrison acknowledged, but humanity has always been resilient. The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. Indeed, though resilience without proper guidance can be problematic. This is why the Confederation exists, to shepherd younger species into the galactic community. After 2 hours of thinly veiled condescension disguised as diplomatic exchange, Zexoteric made an unexpected proposal. Captain Harrison, Would you care to observe a demonstration of Confederation military capability? It might help your leadership. Understand the benefits of accepting our protection. Harrison raised an eyebrow. Protection. The galaxy is vast and not always kind to emerging species, Zexteric explained. The Confederation offers protectorate status to promising civilizations. This includes defense against various threats your people cannot yet comprehend. Harrison considered this carefully. I would be interested in observing this demonstration, yes. 30 minutes later, Harrison and a small group of human officers found themselves aboard a Varlian shuttle, approaching what the aliens called a standard defense formation in Earth orbit. The view took Harrison's breath away, though she was careful not to show it. Dozens of massive battleships, each as large as the eternal luminance, moved in perfect synchronization. Their hulls were crystalline, shimmering with energy fields. Smaller vessels darted between them in complex patterns. This is merely a fraction of the Confederation's 7th Fleet, Zexteric said proudly. These vessels can destroy a moon with coordinated fire or protect an entire planet from asteroid bombardment. As if on cue, the alien ships began a series of maneuvers, forming intricate geometric patterns in space before firing their weapons at distant unmanned target drones. The precision was impressive, Harrison had to admit. Each battleship carries a crew of 2,000 and can operate continuously for 50 of your years without resupply. The alien continued. Their weapon systems are beyond anything your scientists have conceived. Harrison watched the display thoughtfully. Very impressive, High Commander. Your species could benefit greatly from our protection, Zexteric pressed. We propose Earth's immediate integration into the Confederation as a protectorate. Your people would gain access to some of our technologies, while we would establish a small presence on your planet and moons. The offer hung in the air. Harrison recognized it for what it was. Colonization with a friendly face. This is certainly a generous offer that our leaders will need to consider carefully, she replied diplomatically. In the meantime, perhaps, you would be interested in observing Earth's defensive capabilities tomorrow? While modest compared to yours, we are proud of what we've accomplished. The alien commander made that strange laughing sound again. We would be interested to see what you consider defensive capabilities, Captain Harrison, though I doubt they will affect the terms we've offered. As the shuttle returned to Liberty Station, Harrison sent an encrypted message to UNSC headquarters. Prepare, Operation Mirror. Visitors arriving 0800 tomorrow. They need to see everything we have. The aliens might expect humans to be impressed by their display, but tomorrow they would learn that humanity had a few surprises of its own. Captain Elaine Harrison's shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere, cutting through wispy clouds as it approached UNSC headquarters in Geneva. The sprawling complex of gleaming buildings served as the nerve center for humanity's military operations throughout the solar system. Her mind raced with thoughts of the alien delegation and their thinly veiled attempt at establishing dominance over Earth. The shuttle landed smoothly on a circular pad marked with the blue and white UNSC emblem. A group of high-ranking officials waited for her arrival, their faces serious. Among them stood Admiral William Donovan, a barrel-chested man with salt-and-pepper hair and a reputation for straight talk. Beside him was Secretary of Defense Gabriela Martinez, her dark hair pulled back in a severe bun, her expression unreadable. Captain? Donovan greeted her with a firm handshake. We've seen the transmission. Quite the light show those aliens put on. Harrison nodded. They wanted to impress us, sir. Make us feel small. And did they succeed? Martinez asked, her eyes sharp and assessing. They have remarkable technology, Harrison admitted. Their ships are massive, their weapons advanced. But there was something rehearsed about it all, like they've done this performance many times before. The group moved inside to a secure conference room where holographic displays showed the alien fleet in orbit. 50 officers and civilian leaders had gathered, their conversations hushed but urgent. Admiral Donovan called the meeting to order. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, the Galactic Confederation has made contact and offered us protection. Captain Harrison has invited their delegation to observe our own capabilities tomorrow morning. A murmur ran through the crowd. Harrison stepped forward. The aliens were confident, bordering on arrogant, she explained. Their High Commander Zex Tarek barely concealed his view that we're primitives who got lucky enough to reach space. I believe they expect us to be overawed by their technology and eager to accept their terms. Secretary Martinez stood up. Then we need to adjust their expectations. I'm authorizing Operation Mirror, effective immediately. The room fell silent. Operation Mirror had been designed for exactly this scenario. First contact with a technologically advanced but potentially hostile alien civilization. It was a carefully crafted demonstration of Earth's true military capabilities, most of which had been kept secret even from the general public. Will 36 hours be enough time to prepare? Donovan asked. Martinez nodded firmly. It will have to be. The fate of our planet might depend on what these aliens see tomorrow. The Admiral turned to the holographic display and entered a series of commands. The image shifted to show Earth's hidden defenses, the true extent of human military technology that few outside this room had ever seen. Captain Harrison, Donovan said, you'll continue as our primary representative. The aliens seem to respond to you. Harrison nodded, studying the display. They need to understand we won't be intimidated, but we also don't want to provoke them unnecessarily. Agreed, Martinez said. This isn't about starting a war, it's about preventing one. As the meeting continued, 300 million miles away, aboard the UNSC dreadnought Defiance in a hidden orbital dock near Jupiter, Lieutenant Commander Isaac Powell received urgent orders. The young officer had been overseeing routine maintenance when his communication panel lit up with the highest priority alert he'd ever seen. All hands to battle stations, Powell announced over the ship-wide system. This is not a drill. Prepare the Defiance for immediate inspection and possible deployment. Crew members rushed to their positions. Chief Engineer Diane Kelly appeared on Powell's screen, her face concerned. What's going on, sir? She asked. Operation Mirror has been activated, Powell replied. We're going to show some visitors what humanity is truly capable of. Kelly's eyes widened. I'll have the Chimera drive ready in 2 hours. Throughout the solar system, similar scenes played out. Hidden bases on Mars, beneath the ice of Europa, and in the asteroid belt all received the same orders. Ships that officially didn't exist powered up their systems. Weapons platforms disguised as research stations revealed their true nature. Back on Earth, Captain Harrison spent hours being briefed on exactly what she could reveal to the aliens. Some technologies were to be demonstrated in full, others merely hinted at. The goal was to show enough strength to earn respect without revealing every advantage humanity possessed. That evening, Harrison stood alone on the balcony of her quarters, looking up at the night sky. The alien flagship was visible as a bright point of light moving across the stars. Captain? A voice interrupted her thoughts. She turned to see Lieutenant Peter Grant. Sorry to disturb you, he said, but I've been assigned as your aide for tomorrow's demonstration. Harrison smiled tiredly. No apology needed, Lieutenant. Are you ready for what's coming? Grant hesitated. Honestly, I'm nervous. What if they see our capabilities as a threat? That's a risk we have to take, Harrison replied. If we appear weak, they'll treat us as weak. We need to establish ourselves as equals from the start. Meanwhile, on the Eternal Luminance, High Commander Zex Tarek reviewed data from the ship's scans of Earth's defenses. The results were unimpressive. The humans had a few orbital platforms, a handful of moderately armed ships and ground-based missile systems that were practically ancient by Confederation standards. This species is even less advanced than we thought, Zex Tarek told his advisors. Their invitation to observe their defensive capabilities is likely a desperate attempt to save face. The feathered alien, Ambassador Rilthar of the Avari species, seemed less certain. We should not underestimate them, Commander. Their development curve is unusually steep. Zex Tarek made a dismissive gesture. They went from primitive flight to basic space travel in less than a century, yes. But they've reached the limit of what they can achieve without guidance. Tomorrow's demonstration will be brief and unimpressive, I assure you. As dawn approached, both humans and aliens prepared for the day ahead. Neither side fully understood how significantly their relationship was about to change. In the darkness of the outer solar system, the massive UNSC battleship, Titan's Hammer, disengaged its stealth systems just long enough to receive its orders. Its captain, Eleanor Reed, studied the message with a grim smile. "Set course for Earth orbit," she ordered. "It's time to introduce ourselves to the galaxy." All across the solar system, humanity's hidden fleet began to move, converging on Earth for the most important military demonstration in human history. Morning arrived with clear skies over Geneva. Captain Elaine Harrison stood on the landing pad of the UNSC orbital station, watching as the alien shuttle approached. She wore her formal dress uniform, complete with medals and insignia that reflected her years of service. Beside her, Lieutenant Peter Grant and a small honor guard waited at attention. The sleek alien craft docked with barely a sound. The airlock opened to reveal High Commanders Exoteric and 5 other aliens from different species of the Galactic Confederation. "Welcome," Harrison said with a polite nod. "We're honored by your presence." Exoteric's large eyes studied the modest, human station. "Thank you for the invitation, Captain. We are curious about your defensive systems." There was that tone again, the barely hidden condescension that had marked their previous interactions. Harrison maintained her professional smile. "We've prepared a tour that should be informative," she said.
"If you'll follow me, we'll begin with our command center." She led the alien delegation through the station. Human personnel worked at various stations, monitoring screens and controlling the station's systems. Harrison could see the aliens taking
note of the outdated-looking technology, the physical buttons, the simple displays, the lack of holographic interfaces. "This station serves as a coordination hub for our orbital defenses," Harrison explained. "From here we monitor all traffic in Earth orbit." One of the aliens, a short, stocky being with leathery skin, made a sound that might have been a snort. "These systems seem basic." "We find they serve our needs," Harrison replied evenly. After the tour of the station, Harrison brought the aliens to a waiting human shuttle. "Now, I'd like to show you our defensive fleet." The aliens boarded the craft, which was piloted by Lieutenant Olivia Reeves, a skilled pilot with over 1,000 hours of flight time. "Our nearest vessels are stationed about 50,000 miles from Earth," Harrison explained as the shuttle departed the station. "We'll reach them in approximately 30 minutes. As they flew, Exoteric engaged Harrison in conversation. "Your species has been surprisingly resilient, Captain. Most developing civilizations would have destroyed themselves long before reaching space." "We've had our share of conflicts," Harrison acknowledged, "but they taught us valuable lessons." "Indeed. Though those lessons might have come easier with proper guidance," the alien commander replied. "The Confederation has guided many species through their developmental challenges." Harrison nodded politely but said nothing. The shuttle continued its journey into deeper space. Finally, Lieutenant Reeves announced, "Approaching Earth defense." "Fleet Captain." Outside the viewport, a small group of human vessels came into view. There were perhaps 20 ships, most of them no larger than the shuttle they were in. A few larger vessels, roughly the size of pre-space aircraft carriers, floated among them. Compared to the massive alien ships they had seen the day before, the human fleet looked tiny and primitive. Harrison watched Exoteric's reaction carefully. The alien commander's expression was unreadable, but his posture suggested something between disappointment and confirmation of his low expectations. "These are your defensive vessels?" he asked, making no attempt to hide his dismissal. "Some of them," Harrison replied. "These are our publicly acknowledged fleet. But perhaps you'd be interested in seeing what else we have?" Before Exoteric could respond, Harrison nodded to Lieutenant Reeves. The pilot pressed a series of buttons on her console and spoke into her communication system. "Command, this is Shuttle Alpha requesting protocol mirror. Authorization Harrison 7 Delta 9. A voice responded immediately. "Authorization confirmed, Shuttle Alpha. Initiating protocol mirror in 3, 2, 1. At first, nothing seemed to happen. The alien delegation looked confused. Then suddenly the space around them began to change. Massive sections of what had appeared to be empty space shimmered and distorted. Huge vessels materialized where nothing had been visible before. Not just a few ships, but dozens of enormous battleships that had been completely hidden by advanced cloaking technology. The aliens moved to the viewports in shock. Where moments before there had been only a handful of small human ships, now there was a massive fleet. The centerpiece was a vessel so large it dwarfed even the Confederation flagship. Its hull was dark, almost black, with pulsing blue lines running along its length. The name Titan's Hammer was emblazoned on its side in glowing letters. "What you see now," Harrison said calmly, "is approximately 20% of Earth's actual defense fleet." Zexoteric turned to her, his large eyes wider than she had seen before. "Impossible. Our scans detected nothing of this magnitude." "Yes?" Harrison replied. "That was intentional." Another alien, the tall feathered one named Rilthar, spoke up. "Stealth technology of this level is unexpected. The energy requirements alone would be substantial," Harrison finished for him. "We've developed some unique solutions to those challenges." Lieutenant Reeves guided their shuttle toward the Titan's Hammer. As they approached, the massive ship's hangar opened to receive them. Inside, they found a bustling center of activity. Human crew members moved with purpose, operating equipment that looked far more advanced than anything the aliens had seen on the orbital station. Captain Eleanor Reed greeted them as they disembarked. She was tall with short gray hair and a commanding presence. "Welcome aboard the UNSC Titan's Hammer," she said. "I'm Captain Reed. We're honored to host representatives of the Galactic Confederation." Harrison introduced the alien delegation, noting the shift in their demeanor. The condescension was gone, replaced by cautious reassessment. Reed led them to an observation deck that overlooked the ship's main bridge. Through large windows, they could see crew members operating holographic interfaces far more advanced than those on the orbital station. "The Titan's Hammer is our flagship," Reed explained. "She's equipped with our latest defensive and offensive systems." "Your technology is not what we expected," Zexoteric admitted. "Particularly your cloaking capabilities. Humanity has always understood the value of keeping certain advantages hidden," Harrison replied. "As I believe you do as well, High Commander." The alien leader gave a slight nod, acknowledging the point. "Would you care for a demonstration of our capabilities?" Reed asked. "We've prepared an exercise in the outer solar system." Zexoteric exchanged glances with his delegation before responding. "We would be interested to observe such a demonstration." As they returned to the shuttle, for the journey to the demonstration area, Harrison caught Lieutenant Grant's eye. The young officer gave her a subtle smile. The first part of their plan had worked perfectly. The aliens had been forced to reevaluate their assumptions about humanity. Now it was time to show them exactly what human ingenuity and determination had created. Their shuttle departed the Titan's Hammer, followed by several of the massive human battleships. The real demonstration was about to begin. The shuttle carrying Captain Harrison, Lieutenant Reeves, and the alien delegation soared through space toward the outer reaches of the solar system. Behind them followed 5 massive human battleships, including the Titan's Hammer. The aliens remained unusually quiet during the journey, their earlier condescension replaced by watchful attention. "We've selected an area near Jupiter's orbit for our demonstration," Harrison explained. "It's far enough from Earth to ensure safety, but will allow us to show various capabilities of our fleet." High Commander Zexoteric studied the human vessels through the viewport. "Your cloaking technology is remarkable. We believed such comprehensive stealth systems were theoretically impossible." "Necessity drives innovation," Harrison replied. "Earth has always been cautious about revealing its full capabilities." The feathered alien Rilthar leaned forward. "Why maintain such secrecy if you had no contact with other civilizations?" Lieutenant Reeves exchanged a quick glance with Harrison before returning her attention to piloting the shuttle. The captain considered her response carefully. "Humans have a saying," she finally answered. "Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. We hoped any aliens we met would be friendly, but we prepared in case they weren't." The shuttle's communication system activated with a soft chime. Captain Reed's voice came through clearly. "We've reached the demonstration area, Captain Harrison. Standing by for your signal." "Thank you, Captain Reed. We're ready to begin," Harrison responded. Outside, Jupiter loomed in the distance, its massive form and colorful bands visible even from afar. Several large asteroids floated in the space ahead of them, positioned there, specifically for this demonstration. "The first vessel you'll observe is the UNSC Stormbringer," Harrison said, pointing to one of the battleships. It was smaller than the Titan's hammer, but still impressive, with a unique design featuring 4 extended structures that looked like arms, reaching out from its central body. Admiral Donovan's voice came over the communication system. "Stormbringer, you are cleared to demonstrate gravitational manipulation." The human ship moved toward one of the larger asteroids. The 4 arm-like structures began to glow with blue energy. Suddenly, the space around the asteroid visibly distorted. The massive rock, easily the size of a small city, began to move as if pulled by an invisible force. "The Stormbringer can generate controlled gravitational fields," Harrison explained. "This allows us to move objects without physically touching them, redirect incoming threats, or create shields against weapons fire." The aliens watched in silence as the asteroid was lifted, rotated, and then gently set back in place. One of the smaller Varlian officers whispered something to Zexus Tarek. "Impressive," the High Commander acknowledged. "Controlled gravity manipulation. At this scale is an achievement." Harrison nodded to Reeves, who adjusted their position to view the next ship. "The UNSC Avalanche will demonstrate our point defense capabilities," Harrison said. Another human vessel moved forward. This one had a sleeker design, its hull covered with what looked like thousands of small bumps. "Begin demonstration," came the order from Admiral Donovan. Suddenly, from a launcher on one of the other human ships, thousands of small objects erupted toward the Avalanche. They moved at incredible speed, a swarm of projectiles that would overwhelm most defense systems. The aliens tensed, but Harrison remained calm. As the projectiles approached the Avalanche, the bumps on its hull revealed themselves to be tiny weapon ports. In an instant, they all fired simultaneously. Beams of energy shot out in perfect coordination, intercepting every single incoming projectile. Not one got within 100 meters of the ship's hull. "Our neural link targeting systems allow for instant response to threats," Harrison explained. "The Avalanche can track and neutralize up to 50,000 individual targets simultaneously." Rilthar made a sound of genuine surprise. "The processing power required for such precision is substantial," Harrison agreed. "Which brings us to our next demonstration." The shuttle moved again, positioning them for a clear view of 3 human ships that had formed a triangle formation around a particularly large asteroid. "These vessels will demonstrate our defensive coordination capabilities," Harrison said. At a signal from command, all 3 ships extended energy fields that connected to each other, forming a triangular shield. Inside this perimeter, they created a perfect dome of energy over the asteroid. "This shield can withstand direct hits from most known weapons," Harrison explained. "The neural networks of the ships work together, adapting instantly to changing threats." The demonstration continued as the Titan's hammer moved into position. It was by far the largest ship in the human fleet, its dark hull imposing against the backdrop of space. "And now," Harrison said, her voice solemn, "a demonstration of our primary offensive capability." Captain Reed's voice came over the communication channel. "Titan's hammer preparing to fire main weapon. All vessels maintained safe distance." The front section of the massive battleship began to glow with energy. A circular port opened, revealing what appeared to be a lens of some kind. Energy gathered, building to a visible intensity that made the aliens shift uncomfortably in their seats. When it fired, the beam was precise and devastatingly powerful. It struck the largest asteroid, one roughly the size of Manhattan, and sliced through it cleanly. The massive rock split into 2 perfect halves that slowly drifted apart. "The focused energy beam can be adjusted for various targets," Harrison explained, "from precision cuts to wider dispersal patterns." The aliens were silent for several moments. Finally, Zextarek spoke. Your weapons technology is considerable. Combined with your stealth capabilities, it makes your fleet quite formidable. Harrison nodded acknowledgement of the compliment. There's one more thing we'd like to show you. She activated the communication system. Commander Ashley Wright, please proceed with the neural coordination demonstration. A new voice responded. Acknowledged. Captain, beginning demonstration now. The entire human fleet, all 5 massive battleships, suddenly began to move in perfect unison. They shifted positions, formed complex patterns, and executed maneuvers that seemed impossible for vessels of their size. They moved not like individual ships but like parts of a single organism, with split-second timing and flawless coordination. Our vessels are partially integrated with organic neural tissue, Harrison explained. This creates a symbiotic relationship between ship, AI systems, and human crew. The result is reaction times and coordination capabilities beyond what conventional technology allows. The demonstration concluded with the fleet returning to standard formation. As the shuttle began its journey back toward Earth, the mood among the alien delegation had transformed completely. Zextarek turned to Harrison. Captain, I believe it would be beneficial for us to revisit our earlier discussions about Earth's role in the Galactic Confederation. Harrison smiled slightly. I would welcome that, High Commander. Perhaps on more equal terms this time. The alien leader gave what might have been his species' version of a respectful nod. Indeed. Perhaps it is we who have things to learn from you. 2 days after the demonstration, Captain Elaine Harrison stood in the observation lounge of the diplomatic vessel, Olive Branch. The ship floated in neutral space between Earth and the alien flagship Eternal Luminance. Through the large windows, Earth looked peaceful and blue, while the massive alien vessel loomed in the opposite direction. Harrison smoothed down her formal dress uniform and checked the time. The meeting with High Commander Zextarek was scheduled to begin in 5 minutes. The door slid open and Lieutenant Peter Grant entered. They're ready for you, Captain. Harrison nodded. Thank you, Lieutenant. Are Admiral Donovan and Secretary Martinez connected? Yes, ma'am. They're waiting in the communication room. Harrison followed Grant through the curved corridors of the Olive Branch to the ship's central meeting chamber. The room was designed for diplomatic functions with a round table made of polished wood and comfortable chairs. One wall featured a large screen where Admiral Donovan and Secretary Martinez waited, their images crystal clear despite the thousands of miles between them and the ship. The door on the opposite side of the room opened, and the alien delegation entered. High Commander Zextarek led them, followed by Realthar and 3 other representatives. Harrison noticed immediately that something was different about their approach. Gone was the air of superiority that had marked their earlier meetings. Instead, the aliens moved with what seemed like careful respect. Captain Harrison, Zextarek greeted her with a slight bow. Thank you for arranging this meeting. Thank you for accepting our invitation, High Commander, Harrison replied, gesturing to the chairs. Please be seated. As everyone took their places, Harrison couldn't help but reflect on how dramatically things had changed since first contact just 3 days ago. The aliens' initial condescension had been replaced by a new wariness, mixed with genuine curiosity. Before we begin, Zextarek said, I wish to acknowledge that our initial assessment of your species was incomplete. The demonstration of your fleet's capabilities was most enlightening. Harrison nodded. We appreciate your candor, High Commander. From the screen, Secretary Martinez spoke. High Commander, we're eager to discuss a new framework for relations between Earth and the Galactic Confederation. One based on mutual respect rather than protection. Zextarek's large eyes blinked slowly. Yes. The Confederation's standard protocols for emerging civilizations clearly do not apply in your case. Your technological development has proceeded along unexpected paths. Humans have always been adaptable, Harrison said. Our history drove us to prepare for many possibilities. Realthar, the feathered alien, leaned forward. If I may ask, why did you develop such advanced military technology in secret, even from your own people? Harrison exchanged a glance with Admiral Donovan on the screen before answering. Our leaders decided long ago that revealing our full, capabilities might create fear or misunderstanding among our own population. And externally we believe that appearing less advanced than we truly are might someday prove advantageous. As indeed it has, Zexitarik acknowledged. Had we known your true capabilities from the beginning, our approach would have been quite different. The meeting continued for hours as they discussed the details of a new relationship between Earth and the Confederation. The aliens proposed a mutual recognition treaty rather than the protectorate status they had initially offered. Earth would enter the galactic community as a full and equal member, with all the rights and responsibilities that entailed. As the formal discussions concluded, Harrison invited the aliens to join her in the observation lounge for a more casual conversation. Standing before the large windows with Earth visible in the distance, Zexitarik seemed more relaxed than Harrison had seen him. Your stealth technology alone would be valuable to the Confederation, the alien leader said. Many of our member species would be interested in trading for such knowledge. Harrison smiled slightly. And I imagine there are Confederation technologies that would benefit Earth. Indeed. Though I must admit I'm curious about what other surprises your species might be hiding. Harrison met his gaze steadily. Some things we keep to ourselves. Hi, Commander. I'm sure you understand. The alien made a sound that Harrison now recognized as laughter. Perfectly, Captain. The galaxy is rarely a safe place for the naive. They stood in companionable silence for a moment, watching as the Titan's hammer passed by in the distance, its massive form impressive even from afar. Your neural integration technology is particularly interesting, Zexitarik said finally. The Farlians experimented with similar concepts centuries ago, but abandoned the research due to ethical concerns. We had similar debates, Harrison acknowledged, but we found a balance that works for us. Different paths to advancement, the alien mused. Perhaps that is why meeting new species is so valuable. We each solve problems in unique ways. Later, after the aliens had returned to their ship, Harrison sat alone with Lieutenant Grant in the Olive Branch's small mess hall. They each nursed a cup of coffee, tired but satisfied with the day's progress. Do you think they'll honor the treaty? Grant asked. Harrison considered the question. I do. Not just because they respect our strength now, but because I believe they're genuinely curious about us. We surprised them, and that doesn't happen often to a civilization as old as theirs. I heard they've already received messages from 7 other Confederation species requesting direct contact with Earth, Grant said. Apparently we're the new interesting kid in school. Harrison smiled at the analogy. Our willingness to think differently may be our greatest strength, that, and our ability to keep secrets when needed. The next morning, Harrison stood with Admiral Donovan and Secretary Martinez in the UNSC headquarters as they watched the signing ceremony on a large screen. Representative Kara Mason, Earth's newly appointed ambassador to the Galactic Confederation, signed the Mutual Recognition Treaty alongside Zexitarik. The document officially established Earth as an equal member of the interstellar community. A new chapter in human history, Martinez said softly, and a better one than it might have been, Harrison added. If we hadn't been prepared, Admiral Donovan nodded. They came expecting to find primitives they could guide and protect. Instead, they found equals. As the ceremony concluded, Harrison's communication device chimed. It was a message from Captain Reed of the Titan's Hammer. Operation Mirror complete. Initial objective achieved. Phase 2 begins at your command. Harrison smiled slightly as she read it. The aliens had seen impressive demonstrations of Earth's military might, but they still had no idea of humanity's full capabilities. Some secrets were best kept hidden, at least for now. As the old saying went, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Earth had earned the Confederation's respect. In time, perhaps that respect would grow into true alliance and friendship. But until then, humanity would continue to adapt, to innovate, and to keep a few surprises in reserve. After all, the galaxy was a very big place. Who knew what other civilizations might be out there, watching and waiting?